Hello class 11 students. We have seen that a new character, Cassio, who was very important person during the courtship of Othello and Desdemona, and a common friend of both Othello and Desdemona. And what kind of a character was Cassio? He was Florentine, young Florentine soldier. He was definitely a soldier, but he was very handsome. He was very eloquent, that is, he could speak very well, and he had all the other qualities which easily attracted women. So such a person, if somebody has such a friend, that person would be quite alarmed, or that person would be quite cautious about this person, and try to not allow him to mix with his wife. But here the story was quite different, because Cassio was a go between Othello and Desdemona. Othello had late promoted Cassio to the rank of a lieutenant, a place of trust and nearest to the general. The promotion gave great offense to Iago, an elder nobleman who thought he had better claim than Cassio, and would often scorn at Cassio to be a person befitting for the company of ladies, and knew little of the art of warfare. Iago hated Cassio. He also hated Othello for favoring Cassio, and also for the unjust suspicion that the Moor was too fond of Emilia, Iago's wife. From these imaginary provocations, Iago conceived a scheme of revenge that would involve Cassio, Othello, and Desdemona in one common ruin. So, Othello had promoted Cassio to the rank of a lieutenant, which was next to the general. And this offended Iago, who was a much older person, and he thought that he actually deserved this position of the lieutenant. And for this reason, he hated Cassio. And he also made fun of Cassio, saying that he is a person who is fit in the fit in the company of ladies, because he knows nothing of warfare. That was his impression about Cassio. So such a person being promoted to the rank of a lieutenant was something which was very hard for Iago to digest. So he hated Cassio, and he also hated Othello for promoting Cassio to the rank of a lieutenant. So he plotted revenge, where all three, Cassio, Othello, and Desdemona, would be harmed in one common ruin. It means they would be just destroyed. Iago was crafty. He studied human mind deeply. He knew that of all the afflictions that torment man, the pains of jealousy were the most unbearable and had the sorest sting. He thought that if he could succeed in making Othello envious of Cassio, then it would be an excellent plot of revenge, which might culminate in the death of Cassio or Othello, or both. He kept it. Sorry. So what did he say? He thought, means he was a crafty, that is, he was a very shrewd and cunning person, this Iago, and he studied human character and psychology that way, and he understood, or rather he found, that if a person becomes, if there is jealousy in a person, then jealousy is such a thing, it troubles a man to the utmost extent and gives him sleepless night. So if somehow Othello can make if somehow Iago could make Othello jealous of Cassio, then half his battle is won. Okay, that is, then it would be an excellent plot of revenge, and that would end in the death of Cassio, or it could end in the death of both of them, Cassio and Othello. But even if it ended in the death of Cassio and Othello, it did not bother him in any way. So we can understand to what extent his hatred was. The arrival of the general and his lady in Cyprus, and receiving the news of the dispersion of the enemy's fleet, created a sort of holiday mood in the island. Everybody was involved in feasting and merrymaking. Cassio had the direction of the guard that night, with a charge from Othello to restrain the soldiers from drinking excessively. On that night, Iago began his deep-laid plans of mischief. Under the guise of loyalty and love to the general, he lured Cassio to have a drink, which was a great fault for an officer on guard. So what happened was that Othello and Desdemona reached Cyprus, and then they received the good news that Cyprus was free from danger because a storm had dispersed the enemy fleet. So there was a mood of holiday and everybody started feasting. So one way of feasting is drinking. So Cassio was given the charge by Othello to see to it that the soldiers do not indulge in excessive drinking, because if they get drunk and if they start a fight, then that would frighten the citizens of Cyprus. That was not wanted. So he was given the charge to look after the soldiers. But Iago was very certain of what he wanted to do. What he did was he tempted Cassio to drink, and it is a great fault. It is a serious offense for an officer on guard. So what happened? Although Cassio resisted initially, yet he soon fell into the guile of Iago. Why? Because Iago, approached him as a most, a person who loves him and who trusts him a lot. So exactly the opposite thing of what Iago actually felt towards Cassio. And so Cassio, though he initially, that in the beginning he resisted, but later on he fell into the trap of Iago. He swallowed wine glass after glass and became drunk. So he was drunk. Provoked by Iago, he praised the gentle lady Desdemona. He even told Iago, "She is the most exquisite lady." Exquisite in the sense that she is unique in every way. At the end, he got into a scuffle. Scuffle means a fight. Montano, a worthy officer who interfered to pacify the dispute, was wounded in the scuffle. So Montano, who was a worthy officer, he tried to settle the things, but he also got hurt. He also got wounded in the fight. Taking advantage of the situation, Iago spread the alarm, causing the castle bell to be rung as if a dangerous mutiny had set in. So what did Iago do? Iago rang the castle bell as though there was an invasion by the enemy. The bell awakened Othello, who dressed in haste came down to the scene of action and asked Cassio of the cause. By now Cassio had regained some rationality, but was too ashamed to reply. So immediately Othello came down and said that, "Yes, Cassio, what's the problem? Why is the alarm bell there?" But by that time, Cassio had regained some senses. But he was so ashamed he could not reply. Iago pretended to be reluctant to tell the truth, and as if compelled by Othello, gave an account of the whole matter in such a way as it seemed to make Cassio's offense less, but actually made it appear greater than it was. Consequently, Othello, who was a strict observer of discipline, was forced to take away the rank of the lieutenant from Cassio. Thus, Iago's first artifice succeeded. He had now undermined his hated adversary, Cassio, and was successful to thrust him out of place. So, what happened? He rang the castle bell, and when Othello came and asked Cassio, Cassio could not reply, as he was very ashamed. So when Iago was asked, Iago first pretended that he was very reluctant to speak anything against Cassio. But what he did was he blew things out of proportion. He exaggerated the thing. He made the offense look more serious than it actually was. And when Othello heard about it, he just dismissed Cassio at once, removed Cassio from the post of the lieutenant. So that way, Iago's plans succeeded, and he was successful in removing Cassio from the post of the lieutenant. We stop here today. We'll do the rest of it in the next class. Thank you.